Oh, yeah. So I'm going to answer this question quick. Why did I move to Cubase? Okay, let me just show you something about Cubase. So first of all, something like this. So say I'm editing here. I'm here and I want to change something on the strings. I can set my own key commands, right? I can set up my own key commands, which means now all I have to do is push that and it loads up the window. Having one key, like custom key commands is one. You know, if I need to edit the track, I can do it like that. Being able to do this is insane. So let's say I just play something. Sorry, this is going to be like, this isn't going to make sense. Right. So you see, I did that. You see, like there's these notes and there's like, so this has a build to it. This has all the thing. If this was Ableton Live and I tried to move them up and down, it would just go up and down like that. Or if I wanted to, go do like a build, I would lose this ratio. Like you see how this is, but this has compression, right? So I can expand, so I can make that more. I can compress them to be closer together. So if like the velocity, for example, is too far apart, if I've got, so say that the high notes are triggering something in like a piano thing, for example. This is going to sound awful. I'm going to put it on the piano so we can actually see. I apologize in advance. This is going to sound terrible because I wasn't actually listening to it when I was playing it. But for example, so say I wanted the lowers to be higher, the higher to be lower. I can compress it with MIDI. You see that? Look, the higher. So look, now they're more. Right? But also, let's say I wanted to build it like so. Let's say I have a rhythm like da 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 da. So let's say we have it like this, right? Da 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 da. Right? Nice and simple. In fact, I'm going to do this on the string because it makes more sense. Right? You see how easy that is to change over? God, I love that. Right? So let's say I was doing like a cello section with a spiccato, as you do. So let's load that up, right? Another cool thing I can do is, you see this ratio? So in Ableton, I'd have to do like a line from top to bottom, and it would just be like low, 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 mid, 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 high, high, high. Whereas this is high, low, 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 high, low, 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 right? I can do this. I can do ratio builds. You see, just by dragging it down, it maintains the ratio between this note and this note, but it puts a build in. So now, and say I wanted these ones at the end to be even bigger and also be closer together, I can compress those ones and then put them up like that. And then we can, oh yeah, fast forward and rewind. That's useful. So we build, and then these ones at the end. You see, so it's easy, like how much quicker that is. Also, the ability to, if I want to, edit multiple MIDI at the same time. That's kind of useful if you want to transpose, because then I can just select everything and move them all together. You see? There's no actual sound on those. Being able to slice like that, that's kind of useful. Being able to just extend something. You see, look, so say I've got like this and I want it to be half time. I just put it on I keep pushing one. You see, I put it on the time, double the length. Now it's half time. Or if I double that again, even more half time. Or, if I wanted to speed it up, I can make it some sort of offbeat. See, like I can do that. And also, like if I want to just extend it, like I can change it. So now there's space afterwards. Or if I want to keep the start where it is, the start of the MIDI clip, but I want to move the information within it, I can do that too. You see, there's all these little fucking things. Oh, and let's not forget a mix window, like actually being able to add effects and route things and actually have effect sends that work. These are kind of useful. And let's not forget we got a score editor too. This is why I use it. I mean, I sent an email to Ableton, and essentially they came back with the future of Ableton is going to be like for ED. their target audience is EDM. And so like this was something I said in the I was having a conversation about the Hans Zimmer masterclass, and he said something which I both agree and disagree with. He said that the best DAW is the one that you can work in, and that's what I used to say. I used to agree with that wholeheartedly, but ever since changing, the thing that I've realized is that's only right to a point. Like, yes, I can get from A to B quickest in Ableton Live. Well, I could. Now I can do it just as fast in Cubase. But there was a time where I was faster in Ableton, therefore Ableton was the best. But it's changed for me now because what I realized is that you have to look at the future of the company. So Ableton basically expressed to me that their future is going to be integrating with their hardware, focusing more on live performance, which means any updates and any new features which are added to Ableton Live will be geared towards those types of people and that style of music. Same with Logic. Logic's Apple, and Apple's moving away from professionals towards consumers, which means things like Logic are going to start seeing more guitar amps, more drum loops, things like this. Things which, as a orchestral, hybrid orchestral composer, don't really work for me. So I'm not getting anything new with the future of Logic. Whereas Cubase have expressed an interest in adding features and usable concepts for people like me, for composers and producers. You see, like Pro Tools, the future is focusing, it seems, on more audio related mixing, which is fine. That's what it's for. The only two that have something that would work for me is Digital Performer and Cubase. Digital Performer primarily focuses on film composers, although it doesn't focus too much on the production side, it seems. So you see, Cubase for me is the best balance of both. Its future is going to be based on the composition and adding MIDI features, and like even just having this window at the bottom here is a cool feature. Like they're starting to add samplers and things like that, so that the sound design and the production side of it is being added to. While at the same time, they bought was it the Finale or the Sibelius team? I forget which one it was. And they're working on Dorico, so it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to think that the inbuilt score editor is going to get more updates in the future. So it's more for me. So yes, while using the DAW that gets you from A to B the quickest is the one you should be using, you have to think logically about where the future of that company is going, because I could theoretically continue using Ableton Live, but when you're doing, like, one thing I noticed is particularly on the Monster High score, there was parts of the score where the MIDI tracks were layered, like there'd be like 40 to 80 MIDI clips going on at once. If I want to transpose all of those down by a minor third or something, in Ableton Live, that would mean clicking each individual MIDI clip, going click, down, down, click, down, down, click, down, down. Here, I can select them all and change the global transpose, like up here. Or, I could just, like I did there. Let me just put this like an octave down. But I could select the two together, select Alt, and then we go, done. That's all it took. You see how much time that saves me? So yes, theoretically, I could do that in Ableton Live, but I realized that the features and the abilities that Cubase was giving me, particularly with custom key commands, it made my life easier, which meant I had more time to focus on writing music and less time focusing on getting around the shortcomings of the other software. Yeah, because the shortcomings of Cubase are less than what they are with Ableton for the type of music I write. Whereas when I was trying to do some hip hop style tracks for this project I'm working on, and Cubase wasn't the easiest way to do that. Ableton was. You see, so I still use Ableton. It's just Ableton has been relegated to specific things. So if I do all my sound design in Ableton because it works with audio so well. I do like the EDM style stuff in Ableton because it's geared towards it. But if I'm like my primary profession is writing orchestral pieces, writing big, loud hybrid things, and Cubase makes my life easiest for that. So this is primarily my DAW now because that's the kind of music I primarily write. And breathe. Does that make sense? Are you guys on the same page with me?